Details continue to stream in regarding yesterday's tragic mass shooting. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us. Well, as we said, new details are emerging about the alleged gunman and victims in yesterday's deadly mass shooting at the Washington Navy Yard. CTV's Makia Turner has been out on the story all day, and she's here with the latest.
Definitely, Patty, and just so much information to get out there now. The FBI is spearheading the investigation, collaborating with D.C. police and a few other federal partners. Today, FBI officials released the names of a dozen victims, all who range from ages 46 to 73, who were shot dead inside the Naval Sea Systems Command on Isaac Hall Avenue. Now, federal investigators say the alleged lone gunman was 34-year-old Aaron Alexis of Fort Worth, Texas. Alexis was fatally shot in a gunfight with police that happened after he shot workers in the cafeteria from the fourth floor of Building 197. Now, officials say Alexis was a civilian contractor and Navy reservist who had legitimate access to the building. While pieces to this puzzle are still coming together, investigators hope to find out why this all happened.
We believe at this time that the deceased shooter, Aaron Alexis, acted alone. As such, with no other suspects at large, the investigation has moved into a phase of evidence recovery and information gathering. We have confirmed 13 fatalities to include the shooter. This is a methodical and time-intensive process that includes bullet trajectory and crime scene mapping.
First and foremost, our officer is doing well. I visited with him last night. He is in good spirits. He is pretty uncomfortable. He has some pretty serious injuries, but we do expect he will make a full recovery. The more we look into this, the officers that responded from all of the agencies did an incredible job, and there's no doubt in my mind that they saved numerous lives by engaging the way they did.
Our focus and efforts are going to be on answering the questions that we all have. What caused this individual to kill so many innocent men and women? How did he carry out and plan this attack? How did he get access to the weapons? What could have been done to prevent this tragedy? And most importantly, whether anyone else aided or assisted him wittingly or unwittingly in this tragedy.
And that U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia said that it can take several weeks or even months to figure out why this all happened. But in the meantime, if you or someone you know has any information about the Navy Yard shooting on the alleged gunman, no detail is too small. Officials want you to reach out by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI.
And as you mentioned, this investigation will be ongoing for quite a while.
Definitely, Patty. And another piece of information they confirmed today, Alexis did not gain access to that building with 3 guns. He initially had a shotgun. At some point, they believe that he came in contact with a handgun, and that AR-15 weapon has not been confirmed. So that was just another detail that is still being
Do they think this
here.
was one of the security guards' handguns? Is that
They did not say.
At this point, you don't know.
Yeah,
All right.
We just don't know. But we also do know, according to some sources that spoke with the Associated Press, that he may have been suffering from a mental illness. He was getting treatment for it. But again, we just have to stay tuned for even more details to come.
All right. Thank you, Makia. And tonight we are learning the names of those killed in yesterday's mass shooting at the Washington Navy Yard. The Metropolitan Police Department has released the names of the 12 victims. They have been identified as 59-year-old Michael Arnold, 53-year-old Sylvia Frazier, 62-year-old Kathy Gard, 73-year-old John Roger Johnson, and 50-year-old Frank Kohler. Other victims include 46-year-old Kenneth Bernard Proctor, 61-year-old Vishnu Pandit, 51-year-old Arthur Daniels, 51-year-old Mary Knight, as well as 58-year-old Gerald Reed, 54-year-old Martin Bodrog, and 52-year-old Richard Ridgell. The man accused of carrying out the shooting rampage, 34-year-old Aaron Alexis, was killed by authorities during the incident, as we mentioned earlier. Meantime, Congressman Chris Van Hollen says his heart goes out to the families of the victims of yesterday's mass shooting and feels this incident should reignite gun debate on Capitol Hill. Van Hollen says there is a desperate need to modernize gun safety laws in the country.
It's absolutely absurd that we have a situation where people who've committed crimes or people who have been found by a court to be mentally unstable can purchase guns in this country. There's this big loophole. If you go to a licensed gun dealer, you have to go through a criminal background check. But if you go to a gun show, you can purchase a gun without any criminal background check. That is absurd. So again, I want to make it clear, we don't know the facts of this case, and we don't know whether that particular change in law would have made a difference in this case, but we know that in lots of other instances, that change would be important.
And the congressman also says the shootings are particularly disturbing because some of the employees at the Navy Yard have served overseas. The Prince George's County Council also took some time before the start of its regular meeting to remember the victims of the shooting. The tragedy was mentioned in the morning prayer. County Council Chair Andrea Harrison also expressed sadness and encouraged everyone to support the family and friends of the victims.
Well, obviously, we do believe that it is an absolutely horrible, horrific tragedy. Folks getting up, just going to work, doing their regular Monday routine, to be confronted so early in the morning with such a tragic event, the lives that were lost, the fear that was instilled in people. It's just an absolutely, those who were injured, just an absolutely horrible, horrible situation to have to deal with, and so our hearts go out to the families of the victims.
Harrison says police, along with the county's Homeland Security Department, are vigilant, and after yesterday's incident will assess any security changes they may need to make. The Maryland Attorney General's office says there's nothing wrong with using state employees to help sift through a backlog of background checks for gun buyers. The decision came after an Allegheny County delegate questioned the legality of the move and called it a breach of privacy. Earlier this month, as many as 40 employees from 5 state agencies began performing background checks with the assistance of Maryland state troopers. The state has reported a backlog of more than 35,000 gun applications. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.